Morning, everybody. It is 8:11 a.m. It is November 21st. Well, we had a breakout yesterday. In my analysis over the weekend, I did see many sectors, some stocks with the most traded price of the week equal to the most traded price of the month. That doesn't always mean when that happens, you get the breakout right away, but we got the breakout. Okay. So that happened. Definitely overbought, but what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, right? Because you can get more overbought and more overbought and more overbought, right? So I didn't have trade yesterday. Just watched, basically, and then just said, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day with this crazy, with the low volume, and look what we got. We got a breakout. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name's Steven Gonzalez. Use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the market. All right, along with gamma exposure levels, supply and demand, and the most traded price of the year, the week, the month, previous day. Okay, all the fine structure in this market to stay on the right side, right? To stay on the right side of this market. And yesterday, um, we had a little breakout. Okay, so this rally is continuing. Okay, so subscribe, set alert if you can. Always give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. And of course, you could do this later if you don't like what you see. Then you don't have to do it. But hopefully you do. Follow me on social media at X at Condo719. And let's get into this watch list, all right? So let's look at this. What do we have here? We have the VIX, right? VIX is up 0.75%. And it's at 13.51. That's not a lot of fear in this market. Look at gold. Gold just loves flirting with 2000. It's at 1993. It's up 0.65. The dollar has been falling. Okay. Silver's up 0.55. 30-year bonds being bought, so I suspect the 10-year yield will fall a little bit at 820. The Dow is down 0.17. The dollar is down 0.18. ES is down 0.21. Nasdaq's down 0.30. Crude is down 0.42. Russell's down 0.53. Bitcoin's down 1.12 at still at 38K level, so pretty strong level. Still underneath that. Ether's down 1.32%. Okay, let's move on to stocks I like to day trade and swing trade. Tesla. Tesla's the leader, not much of a leader, up 0.33. Let's go to the laggards. We have Roblox down 0.45, Microsoft down 0.6. Microsoft's at all-time highs at 0.6. Coin had a nice day yesterday, big day yesterday, but that is down 1.42%, likely with the slide in Bitcoin. Okay, let's move on. Top sector stocks. Is there a leader? Well, 0.04% is not much of a leader, but that's got Walmart there. Laggards, we got Visa, Disney, Exxon, Home Depot. Home Depot's down 0.55. Lowe's reported earnings. They had a revenue miss, so sympathy to play with Home Depot. That's why it's down. Qualcomm down 0.7. Okay, let's move on to sectors. XLV. Now XLV 129. It needs to hold that level. Okay, XLV's been kind of weak. If that gets into gear, right, the Dow should get some help. Overall market should get some help because it's the second largest sector in the S&P 500 is healthcare. All right, UNH has had a pretty good year. Eli Lilly, same thing. But the rest of the market, like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Merck, not as good. Okay, so if that gets into gear, that can get into gear a little bit, but next year might be next year's darling a little bit. We'll have to see. Usually a safe haven, right? Now that is the only leader. All right, we got some laggards here. Well, we got discretionary. Okay, that would be Home Depot. That would be your Tesla. That would be your Amazon. technology. That would be your Microsoft, your Apple, your NVDA, and semis is obviously NVIDIA, AMD, all the chips, right? So that's the little weak. Now look, we broke out right to a key level. So no surprise there. All right. So let's move on to some little bit of news. Not great. Oh man. All right. Give me one sec. All right. I have to pull up my browser here because it's for some reason. Oh, there we go. Um, let's look at some market news. What do we got today? All right. So today, Chicago Fed 8:30. Existing home sales. So at 10 a.m., I'm not looking to initiate a trade with the existing home sales. All right, could get a little volatility there, but we got FOMC minutes at 2. Okay, so not sure if that will bring any fireworks. Looking at the minutes from the meeting, but that's really what's on the news for today. Okay, there's not much in the world of other news. Obviously, you got the open AI thing going on. Other things to note: AI stock got an upgrade, so that's up 1.93% pre-market. Also, now solar energy has been getting beaten down a little bit, right? Well, for solar, FSLR and Enphase both got upgrades. Now for solar, hasn't seen such movement, but Enphase is up 0.4. Okay, that's really, I mean, as news-wise, FOMC minutes. Oh, and we got NVIDIA earnings today after the close. Okay, that could give the burst to the market after the close. And let's see what really happens after that, right? Eventually, you're going to have some pullback, all right? Don't know where, don't know when, but eventually we will. Who knows when, okay? Who knows when. We're going to move over to daily charts, okay? Let's do that together. We will digest these daily charts together, which is not a lot to digest here, okay? Now, if we look to the left in my Express chart, where do we close? 454.26, right? If you look to the left, okay, to prior month's highs. These are the whites. It's a prior month's high. It's a prior week high, right? And you got resistance here at this candle, resistance here at that swing high. So that's kind of where we closed at. No surprise, okay? Now, if we zoom in a little bit from this move, look at these. Look at this little uptrend line that held yesterday. Look at that. It's literally like, oh, I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to buy. So that uptrend line in the SPY held up pretty good. Okay, and then broke out. Now, if you look at this move, look right here, the orange. That was last week's highs. So you had a double top here. You had that week high. This is that week high I was talking about, and we just, boom. Now, there was a moment yesterday where we just went sideways, and then that was the breakout. Boom, you just hit it, right? We actually came back to Friday's highs and Q's Friday's highs, and that's where you got the move. Okay, where are we at now? 453.63, 453.63. We are like at the upper third of yesterday's session, but no surprise that it stopped there. You can clearly see resistance here. Okay, no surprise. All right, let's look at the Q's together. All right, look at that. Now this is, let's zoom out here. It broke the highs from this year. Now I kept wrongly stating, and I admitted that yesterday, that this is all-time highs. It's not all-time highs. It is this year's highs. Okay, so we basically broke that. You can see clearly set a new high for the year. Okay, you zoom in a little bit. Okay, right there is where we broke last week's highs. Okay, so what a monster move. Okay, I mean, let's see here. If we go here from the bottom to the top of this move here, that is 14%, 14.33% in 25 days. 14.33% move in 23 days. $49.06 in 25 days. Jeez, right? Now, if we were going to go from the move down, right, and just to see how long it took us to move down, we moved down. Oh, really? I'm not going to be able to see that. Well, we moved down 11.76%, and it took, why can't I see that here? 99 days to do that. Unbelievable. This market just never fails to just amaze. It's so unpredictable, and it's hilarious when people say they can predict the market. Maybe in a small window you can do probability, but never in like a longer term. It's so hard, right? So that's what's going on there. All right, let's look at that 10-year yield, because that's very important. Okay, that's my triple-headed monster that we always talk about here. So this yield's broken down. Okay, so right here was the key level, 4.48. That is broken, right? And now look, yesterday you tried to opened up here and then came right back to last week's lows. So we're holding last week's lows at 4.4 yield. Now right now the TNX is down 0.45%. Okay, now look, the next move, see there's a gap here. The next move is to this level here, 4.35. That's also the 100-day moving average. That's probably our next move down, if we break this, which we are breaking under last week's lows. And it's just going to make the market rally even more. Okay, can we ultimately go to 4.08? Right, we'll have to see. Okay, and the dollar's also just been tanking. So let's look at the dollar. Look at that move right now in the dollar. You have the double top here at 103.93, right? That was a prior support here that got broken underneath the 200-day moving average. Now, underneath all moving averages, the dollar, could we be headed for 102.71? 102.71. Okay, this is good for commodities and equities. Okay, so everything right now is pointing towards us rallying. Okay, even though we moved up so far, the bond market and the dollar is doing the inverse of the market, and that's usually what you have happen. Okay, there was times where they were not. Okay, they're inversely correlated. Right, and the VIX, I mean, there's not much to say about the VIX. We just don't have fear. You look to the left, we're at support. Okay, that's what's going on there. Now we can go right into our structure, and my favorite thing is the market profile and the volume profile. All right, let's get into that. Boom, boom. All right, let's make this a little smaller, and we'll look at this move together. Okay, we got a big move yesterday. Okay, broke all these, broke out of balance. Okay, let's look at that structure. All right, so what do we have here? Look over the last week. All right, we have excess at the bottom, followed by our most traded price around, let's just say 45.20. Okay, and we had all this move happen. So we got excess to the top. Okay, now for the market to sustain this, What needs to happen? Okay, you need, so price is up here at 45.53. Okay, what do you need in profile terminology to happen? So we have our value areas here. This is the highlighted blue. That's the 70% of trade has happened here in the last week. Okay, most traded price is here. It's the most traded price of the last week. You need the market to see if value will follow the price. So you need to start building out the volume, which would in turn build out value, and you need to move it up here to sustain the move. If that doesn't happen, it's like you're stretching a rubber band, and if price can't follow value, price returns back. Okay, it's like a rubber band, and you can see this is running out of participants, right? See, look, more, less volume, right? So what do we have here when I'm saying that? Okay, let's look at our next structure components together, right? Now, yesterday, when you have a big move, you break out. First thing you want to look at is where's the midpoint or the 50% retracement of that move? It's right here, 45.47, right here. Okay. Also, you have single prints right here. That just means emotional buying in this case. Okay. Now, you have a spike because right here as we broke out, we went all the way up here and we closed here. So you have a spike here. Borrowing from Shadow Trader, Peter Rezenchek, right here, that's a spike rule. Okay. And spike rules are this. Okay. It's pretty simple. I like how it's explained. If the market is inside the spike, you're bullish because the market is accepting higher prices. Okay, if we open below the spike, that means that the market's not as strong. Okay, if we open above the spike, obviously that's super bullish. Okay, so we're putting the story together, right? Now, what is the really important level today? What is the important level today? So I already talked about the 50% of yesterday's move. What does that coincide with? It coincides with the most traded price of yesterday. It was 45.45. Okay, so the most trades were here yesterday, right? What else do we have? We have a demand zone. That's right here. Here's the confluence, guys. So the market's job today is to defend this level. That's it. That's the market's job today. If the buyers are strong, they will buy here. They will defend it. If they cannot, the market will slip back into range. Okay? Now, that is not good. Okay? And let me explain balance. Okay? When you have a balanced area and you break out, okay, that is called the test. Okay? It's not confirmed yet. Okay? It's not confirmed yet. And what happens is, if you break out and you do a look above and fail, they call it, and we start to go back into range, what happens is you traverse the range, you go all the way back to the bottom of the balance area. And if you fall again, this is another tip, you usually go the width of the balance area. So say 45.40 to, let's just say 4,500, that's 40 points. So you would think we drop another 40 points from here. I'm not saying that happens, that's just balance rules. Okay? Now let's get into scenarios. Let's get into our scenarios. I like today, it's giving me something to work with. I'm not looking at balance and balance and balance and balance, okay? So let's look at our scenarios here. Okay, so obviously this market's bullish, okay? We just made a big breakout, and our job is to defend this area, just like I said before. So we have a demand zone here. What the market could do, if it comes down here, you need to find acceptance. Now I'm going to talk about bulls. This is bullish. So if it gets defended, the demand zone gets bought up, you get higher low, higher low. Well, guess what? We're going to make our way back up and probably into the supply zone, do this, and maybe revisit yesterday's highs. Okay, we do have supply above us around 45, 75 or so. Okay, that's one. Okay, that would be one I'd be looking at. And that's kind of it. That's as simple as that. Okay, most trades, most traded price, and actually the POC, the point of control for the TPOs, which just means the most time spent, are equal. So it's just a big level. Okay, because if everybody's going to be most likely long here, that's why it's such an important level. Gets defended, got to go with the flows of the market. Okay, very simple. Let's talk about the bear. Okay, let's talk about that bear. So, of course, market could push up, hit this supply zone, right? Come down here, and this is where that test happens, right? I just talked about the bullish case of this level. Well, we got to talk about the bearish case. So if we come down here and break, all right, and we find acceptance below the level, and we just start doing lower highs, and you see the weakness in the market, okay, what's going to happen is we're probably going to go back to yesterday's lows and back to value, okay, back to that most traded price of the week. Then if we fall below that, I said you will go down to the bottom of the balance area around 4,500. You have to break this level though. Okay, bulls can definitely re-engage here, but I would say that would be tough, because now you have these longs, right? Here, all the way up to here. They're probably gonna be taking profit on the way down, and some stops. The stops will definitely get run. I don't know if that happens. Again, I don't predict. All right, that wraps up that. Okay, so now let's look at the Nasdaq. Let's see if the Nasdaq has a similar setup. Oh, by the way, that was the ES scenario. Okay, now let's look at the structure of this Nasdaq together. Apologize. Yesterday, my data got a little hung up yesterday. Okay, but this is correct data. All right, so let's look at structure. Okay, the market's right now at the lows. Nasdaq's pulling back. Nasdaq's coming to the same area. We have the same setup, guys. Okay, so let's look at our market here. We know we had our balance area. We know we have excess at the bottom. We have our most traded price. That is 15. What is it? 15860. Okay. Now we have running out of volume, right? We made excess. We have kind of a weak high here, with yes, the overnight high in the RTH high. So that's weak. So if we come back up here, we could probably push through it. Okay. Now we did talk about this weak high in the ES yesterday, because we had poor high. So that worked out. That worked out. All right. All right. Now same setup. Same setup, guys. So same type of let's even zoom in here more so I can give you guys a closer look. Okay, so it's very similar. It's really nice to have both setups coming to fruition. Okay, so real rough, because it's basically the same. We have the spike right here. Okay, spike is in danger. Price is right here in the Nasdaq. It's below this point, actually below the spike. Okay, we have our weak high up here. Okay, so now we have liquidity that's short, okay, in the Nasdaq. Remember, NVDA reports today after the bell, so that's important too. All right, people are expecting them to beat earnings and to go higher. Doesn't mean it has to happen. Okay. Now, where's our midpoint in the Nasdaq? It is 160.05 right here. Perfectly lines up with the most traded price, the POC, right here. That's the level to defend in the Nasdaq. You have a demand zone here. Same setup. It's nice because the markets are in sync. Now, the Qs are definitely more weak. Okay, the Qs are definitely more weak. Okay, so let's go right to the same setup. Okay. All right. So again, bulls have to defend this area, 16,000. Right. Most traded price of yesterday. Right. And we also know it's a demand zone. We also know that it's the POC. That's a TPO. The most time spent there. The most time spent was there. Okay. All it is can the Nasdaq defend this level? If it does, higher low, higher low. Now you have short liquidity here to work yourself up. You got some supply, so that could cause a little bit. Oh, look, we're breaking down right now. Now, news, well, news would have dropped at 8:30. That wasn't that big. That's okay. Remember this level. Now, this is what sucks sometimes. Is like my pre-market plan might happen pre-market for the real time. So, like I said, if we defend that level, we could find ourselves break this week high, and I would expect that to be the move. Okay, I would expect that to be the move. All right. So, if we're looking at the bear scenario, okay, you're testing this now. Now look, you're getting thinned out here in the profile. Okay, this has to be defended. So in our bearish scenario, okay, a couple things can happen. We can bounce, go right into supply, but then that could get tested. You'll have longs in here, and then if we break this level and you find acceptance below it, we're going to test most likely yesterday's lows, possibly the most traded price. All right, and that was 158.60, I believe I said. Okay, then balance rules, we should go to the bottom of the range. Okay, this is everything, these levels today. That's the line in the sand. I love it because we both have the same plan in both the ES and the Nasdaq. I like when they're in sync. Now again, I know the Nasdaq's a little weaker, but still, it has to defend this level. And it sucks that it could happen now, right? It could happen now. So the bulls have to defend this level. Okay, 50% Fibonacci of yesterday, most traded price, and the POC and demand zone. So here we go. We're getting a little defense right now. Okay, but this is our line. This is our line. You know, again, if we do open up here, well, we'll have to see. You still have to defend this. Okay, so that's the scenarios. Okay, that is the Nasdaq scenarios. So hope that made sense to whoever's listening or watching. Okay, hope that made a lot of sense to you. All right, so thank you for watching. Subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. Okay, if you like the content, please give me a like, a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. And you could always follow me at X at Gonzo719. Okay, so we have our plan. We have our plan. Okay, and it's just a case of really people gonna front run NVDA, right? And I'm looking at the Nasdaq right now. It's testing the level I was talking about right now. Okay, so is that going to happen? Okay, Now I'm gonna throw you over real quick to the ES. ES is starting to test that level as well. Right here, guys. This is the point right here. And remember, if we break below, you need to find acceptance. If you can't and you go above it, probably longs are going to go off to the races again. Okay? Just wanted to reiterate that. All right? Today, this plan is solid. Okay? It's not, we're in this balance range. This is solid, right? So, I'm really liking this. You can feel my excitement. So, I wish everybody good luck today. Okay? FOMC minutes at 2. NVDA earnings after the close. All right. I will see everybody tomorrow. Good luck. Stay green.